There is a quiet moment that changes everything. It's not when someone disrespects you in front of everyone. It's the second after. The pause where you decide, do I laugh it off? Do I explain myself again? Do I shrink so no one feels uncomfortable, except me? Most of your life, you've been trained to tolerate small cuts to your dignity. The jokes that sting, the advice you never asked for, the comments that treat your time, your feelings, your choices as optional. You tell yourself it's not worth making a scene, but inside, something else is happening. Every time you swallow disrespect, a quiet part of you learns, maybe I don't matter that much. What if that's the real problem? Not that people disrespect you, but that your nervous system has been conditioned to call it normal. What if every time you stay and smile, every time you over-explain, every time you apologize for existing, you are quietly teaching the world, this is how you're allowed to treat me? Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoics never promised a world without rude people, difficult family, or arrogant co-workers. They promised something better, that you could become the gatekeeper of your own mind, the one who decides where your energy goes, and what behavior no longer gets a free pass. Modern psychology agrees. Patterns like people-pleasing and fawning are not your personality. They are survival strategies your nervous system learned to keep you safe. Stoicism is how you unlearn them on purpose. Today, we'll walk through 5 Stoic ways to handle people who don't respect you, without exploding, without begging, and without losing your self-respect. Not to help you win arguments, but to help you win yourself back. If you're tired of living in quiet resentment and ready to live with clear self-respect, you're in the right place. Say this quietly to yourself. I'm allowed to decide how people are allowed to treat me. And if this resonates with you, consider subscribing to Stoic Current so we can keep rebuilding your inner world together. 1. Hold your head high. The first way to handle disrespect doesn't start with the other person. It starts with how you carry yourself in the moment. Notice what your body usually does the second someone crosses the line. For most people, it's automatic. Your shoulders fold in a little, your chest collapses, your voice gets smaller, your eyes drop to the floor. You let out that small fake laugh and say, "It's fine, don't worry about it." On the outside, it looks polite. On the inside, your whole body is apologizing for existing. Maybe it's in a team meeting where your idea gets brushed aside, and someone else repeats it a few minutes later, and suddenly it's great. Maybe it's at a family table where the jokes always seem to be at your expense. Maybe it's with a partner who throws out little lines like, "Of course you messed that up, you always do," and everyone is supposed to laugh. Watch yourself in those moments. Your words try to stay calm and reasonable, but your body shrinks as if you're the one who did something wrong, just by being there. Here's what most people never realize. Before anyone listens to what you say, they are reading the way you stand. Your body is like an antenna, constantly broadcasting a signal. This is what I believe I deserve. You can say wise, powerful things, but if your body is saying, "I'm small, I'm sorry, please don't be upset with me," people will follow your posture, not your sentences. You might think you're avoiding conflict. What you're really doing is training people. When you push me, I disappear. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dignity is the mark of a rational soul." He didn't talk about status, titles, or money. He talked about dignity, the quiet way you sit, stand, and move through the world. Your posture is not just a physical habit. It is the visible shape of your self-respect. Modern psychology has a name for this: embodied cognition. Your mind doesn't only control your body also talks back to your mind. When you stand tall, open your chest, breathe deeply, you send a signal upward: I'm safe, I'm solid. I belong here. When you hunch your shoulders, collapse your chest, stare at the table, you send a different message. I'm less. I'm in danger. I shouldn't take up space. Over time, your brain believes whatever your body repeats the most. So every time disrespect makes you physically smaller, you're not just reacting to that one comment. You're rehearsing a story. I am the one who must shrink so others feel big. Under that posture, there's usually a quiet belief. If I stay soft, they won't leave. If I stay small, they won't get angry. If I don't take up too much space, maybe they'll keep me. Maybe you learned this around unpredictable adults, where being invisible felt safer than being noticed. Maybe you learned it in a relationship where love came with criticism, and your body started bending itself into whatever shape kept the peace. Maybe you learned it at work, where speaking your mind always had a cost. But here is a Stoic truth. When you constantly shrink yourself to keep people comfortable, you are silently agreeing that they are above you. Holding your head high is not arrogance. It is simply refusing to agree that you are less. It doesn't mean you storm into rooms or dominate conversations. It doesn't mean you act like you're better than everyone. It means you stop moving like an apology. So, how do you turn this into a real practice when disrespect happens? Next time someone says something dismissive or cutting, even a joke you'd normally laugh off, don't start with your mouth. Start with your breath. Step 1. Inhale slowly through your nose and feel your feet on the ground. Just one conscious breath. Step 2. Straighten your back a little. Imagine a gentle string pulling the top of your head upward. Open your chest. Let your shoulders soften and roll back instead of curling in. Step 3. Lift your head and let your eyes rise to meet the world again. Not in a challenge, not in anger. Just steady, clear, present. And in that tiny pause, ask yourself quietly, if I truly respected myself right now, how would my body look? Then let your body answer. Maybe that means you hold eye contact instead of looking away. Maybe it means you stop laughing at jokes that cut you down. Maybe it means you say calmly, that comment wasn't necessary. Or you choose to let the silence sit and then change the subject. The exact words are less important than the state you say them from. You are shifting from defense to dignity. Use this as a small experiment. Tomorrow, when you walk into any room, work, home, a cafe, notice your default posture. Are you rushing, folded in, trying to be invisible? Or can you slow your steps just a little, place your feet firmly, lengthen your spine, and walk in as if you belong there? Because you do. Holding your head high doesn't mean you never feel insecure. It means you stop letting insecurity dictate the shape of your body. And yes, at first it will feel strange. Your muscles are used to curling around your fear. You might feel exposed, shaky, even guilty for not shrinking. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're rewiring an old survival strategy. Be patient but persistent. You're not becoming a new person. You're finally allowing your outer posture to match your inner worth. Tonight, if you can, write one simple sentence in your journal. Where do I physically shrink when I feel disrespected? Is it with a certain friend, a family member, a boss, a partner? Just notice. No blaming, no drama, only awareness. Because once you see the pattern, you can change it. One breath, one straightened spine, one head lifted when you would normally look away. This is the first way you show the world, without a word, that you are not small. If you need one sentence to carry into tomorrow, let it be this: I walk like someone who knows their worth. 2. Use the silent stare. The second way to handle disrespect is not loud, clever, or dramatic. It's quiet, uncomfortable, and incredibly powerful. Think about the people who like to test your boundaries. The coworker who talks over you every time you start sharing an idea. The friend who always has a joke that somehow lands right on your insecurity. The relative who makes a sharp comment just loud enough for the whole room to hear, then hides behind, "Relax, I'm only kidding." Most of the time, your reaction is automatic. You speed up your words, trying to squeeze your voice back into the space they just took. You argue, explain, defend, or you laugh. You give that little "it's fine" smile, even though it isn't. On the outside, it looks like you're easygoing. On the inside, you feel small, angry, and tired. There is another option. You don't raise your voice. You don't fight for the last word. You don't perform. You use the silent stare. Imagine this. You're mid-sentence in a meeting. Someone cuts you off, cracks a dismissive joke at your expense, and the room turns toward them, waiting for the show. Instead of scrambling to talk over them or forcing a polite laugh, you simply stop. You lean back slightly. You turn your head, and you look at them. Your face is calm. No smile. No eye roll. No fake laugh to rescue them from their own behavior. 3 seconds. 4. 5. You say nothing. The energy in the room shifts. They expected you to play your usual role, the one who smooths things over, who makes it easy, who takes the hit. But you're not doing that anymore. The silent stare works like a still mirror. You're not attacking them. You're not preaching. You're not humiliating them. You're just showing them themselves. You wouldn't argue with a mirror. You wouldn't write a speech to convince it to reflect accurately. You simply let it show the truth. That's what you're doing when you hold a steady, neutral gaze. You are letting their behavior stand alone, without your laughter, explanation, or apology wrapped around it. Epictetus said, "If someone does wrong, the harm is to their character, not yours." When you use the silent stare, you are refusing to take their behavior into your nervous system and turn it into your shame. You're saying, without a single word, "I see what you just chose to do. I'm not going to carry it for you, and I'm not going to join you." Modern neuroscience quietly agrees. We are wired to care about how we're seen. Our brains have mirror neurons that light up with eye contact, with the expressions on other people's faces, with the feeling of being watched. When a room goes quiet, and people simply look at the person who crossed the line, social shame does the work that lectures never can. A calm, steady gaze can trigger more self-awareness than 10 minutes of arguing or explaining. So if this is so powerful, why does it feel so hard to do? Because almost your whole life, you've been trained to believe that it's your job to make other people comfortable. If you don't laugh, you're too sensitive. If you don't explain, you're difficult. If you hold someone's gaze after they've disrespected you, you worry they'll think you're rude, arrogant, or dramatic. So you abandon yourself to protect their image of you. You break eye contact first. You laugh even when it hurts. You talk faster to prove you're not upset. You rescue them from the awkwardness their own behavior created. The silent stare is the moment you stop doing that. It's not about punishing them. It's about not abandoning yourself. When someone crosses a line and you look right back at them, calm and quiet, you are telling your own nervous system, "I'm staying with you this time. I won't disappear from myself just to keep this comfortable." Underneath the discomfort, there's a core belief. If I show any attitude, they won't like me. If I let them feel what they did, I'll be the bad one. The Stoic reframe is simple and sharp. Not everyone has to like you, but you have to live with yourself. If your self-respect and their comfort collide, which one are you willing to lose? So let's turn this from an idea into a practice. This week, choose one situation. Not 10, just one. Maybe it's that colleague who always cuts you off. Maybe it's a friend who throws in jokes that land like tiny knives. Maybe it's a family member who makes a comment and waits for the room to laugh. The next time it happens, your old pattern will rush in first. You'll want to laugh it off, justify yourself, or jump into defense mode. Instead, do this. First, pause. Let there be one small, deliberate silence. Most people are terrified of silence. That's why it's so powerful. Second, adjust your body. Lean back slightly instead of leaning forward. Place your hands in a relaxed but grounded position on the table, crossed gently, or resting in your lap. No tension, no fists, just solid. Third, lift your eyes and look at them. Not with hate, not with a smirk. Just a clean, steady, neutral gaze. Count slowly to 3 in your mind. 1, 2, 3. Let them feel that you are here, that you noticed, and that you're not going to help them pretend it didn't happen. Then, without changing your tone, you simply say, "As I was saying," and you pick up exactly where you left off. No lecture, no extra explanation, no emotional discount. You're not trying to win, you're just refusing to disappear. At the end of the day, take 2 minutes to journal. Write 5 short lines answering this question. What happened when I chose the silent stare instead of defending myself? Did they get uncomfortable? Did they look away? Did someone else in the room shift, noticing what just happened? Most importantly, how did you feel? Shaky but proud? More present? More tired but also more true? You're not chasing a perfect performance. You're collecting evidence that a different kind of response is possible. Over time, you'll notice a pattern. People who rely on disrespect to feel strong don't enjoy being seen clearly. They prefer you flustered, apologizing, or over-explaining. They don't know what to do with someone who simply sees them and refuses to dance. And if they don't change, you still gain something priceless. You stayed with yourself. You didn't sell your dignity for their comfort. Sometimes, the most powerful no is the one you deliver through your eyes. Write this down somewhere, you'll see it often. I don't perform for disrespect. 3. Let silence be your answer. Some disrespect doesn't come in big explosions. It comes in tiny needles. The jokes that are actually knives. Wow, failing again, huh? Classic you. The lines that dismiss your feelings. It's not that serious. You're just too sensitive. Some people specialize in these micro-attacks. They poke, test, and provoke just to see what you'll do. They don't actually need you to agree with them. They just want you to react. The more you defend yourself, the more material they have. You explain, they twist it. You protest, they smirk. You get upset, they call you dramatic. It feels like whatever you say is fuel for their fire. Here's the shift. Not every attack deserves an answer. Sometimes, the most powerful answer is none. Imagine your attention as an electrical outlet on the wall. Every time you respond to a disrespectful comment, it's like plugging in their device. Your words, your energy, your anger, that's the electricity. If you keep plugging them in, their drama keeps humming along, fully powered. But if you don't, if you refuse to connect, the device sits there, dark and useless. Drama only lives if you keep paying the electricity bill with your attention. Stoic philosophy understood this long before social media, group chats, and passive-aggressive texts existed. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Delay doesn't always mean counting to 10 and then delivering the perfect comeback. Sometimes delay means silence, choosing not to jump into the arena they've prepared for you. Modern psychology adds another layer. Many people are quietly addicted to the dopamine of drama. They get a little chemical hit from stirring the pot, from seeing you react, defend, and lose your center. When they throw out that cutting remark, they're not just expressing an opinion. They're pushing a button to see if you'll light up for them. When you choose silence, you cut off the reward. No dopamine, no show, no entertainment. At first glance, silence feels like surrender. Part of you thinks, if I don't respond, they'll think they're right. If I stay quiet, I look weak. If I don't defend myself, everyone will believe what they said. You've been trained to think that respect is earned by arguing well, but Stoicism offers a different perspective. You don't owe every provocation a piece of your life force. Not every battle is worthy of your presence. Sometimes silence is not losing. It's strategic retreat, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. The key question isn't, can I win this argument? It's, is this worth my peace? Look deeper inside. When you feel that desperate pull to answer, what's really driving it? Is it a fear of being misunderstood? A need to prove you're not stupid, lazy, weak, or whatever label they're throwing at you? A childhood echo of always needing to justify yourself? Or is there another possibility? That you have reached a point where your energy is too expensive to spend on every cheap insult that passes by? Silence can mean two very different things. One is fear. I'm scared to speak, so I stay quiet and swallow it. The other is sovereignty. I could speak, but I've decided this is beneath the level of my response. The first shrinks you. The second protects you. The difference is the intention behind it. Stoic silence is not numbness, it is choice. So, how do you practice this in real life? When someone drops a sentence that hits you right in the chest, picture this. Someone says something extremely out of line, a cheap shot, a comment about your past, your body, your work, your dreams. You feel the heat rise in your chest. Your jaw tightens. Your mind races to grab the perfect comeback. In that exact moment, your power is not in what you say. It's in whether you allow that impulse to own you. Here's the micro-ritual. First, breathe. One slow inhale through your nose. Feel your lungs fill. Feel your feet on the floor. Let the air leave your body slower than it came in. Second, ask yourself quietly, in your mind, is this worth my peace? Don't overthink. Just notice the first clear answer that rises. Most of the time, if you're honest, the answer is no. Third, if the answer is no, let silence be your answer. You can look at them. You might raise an eyebrow slightly, or you might keep your face completely neutral. You don't need a performance. You simply don't plug in. You let their words hang in the air with no reaction to feed on. The moment passes. The conversation moves. They don't get the show they wanted. Later that night, you might replay the scene and think, I should have said this, or I could have destroyed them with that line. But pause and notice something deeper. You didn't lose control. You didn't shake for an hour after the argument. You didn't lie awake, editing and re-editing your response in your head. You kept your peace. And that is not weakness. That is a quiet, radical strength. Of course, there will be times when you must speak up, to set a boundary, to correct a serious lie, to protect yourself or someone else. Stoicism is not about never using your voice. It's about choosing when your voice is a sword and when your silence is a shield. Each time you choose silence on purpose, you're telling your nervous system, I am not a puppet. I choose when and how I move. You are no longer renting out your mind to every passing insult demanding your reaction. Tonight, try this simple journal prompt. What happened when I chose silence instead of defending myself? Maybe you stayed silent in a small moment, a sarcastic comment, a passive-aggressive remark, a cheap joke. Write down what you felt. Did the other person get uncomfortable? Did the tension dissolve faster than usual? Did you feel a different kind of power, quieter but more solid? You're training a new reflex, not to ignore yourself, but to ignore what doesn't deserve you. Silence is not weakness. It's choosing not to rent out your mind to every passing insult. Let this sit in your heart. I don't respond to everything that doesn't deserve me. 4. Stop explaining your choices to others. Some disrespect doesn't sound like insults. It sounds like questions. Why would you leave a stable job? Why didn't you go to that party? Why are you still single? Why are you taking a break? You're not even that busy. At first, it sounds like curiosity, but over time you notice the pattern. Every choice you make is treated like a mistake that needs defending. You change careers suddenly, everyone's an expert on your life. You end a relationship, people want to know the real reason. You say no to a plan because you're exhausted. They say, "Come on, don't be boring." And there you are again, explaining. Explaining why you're tired. Explaining why you need space. Explaining why you did what you did. You start to feel like your life is being lived in front of an invisible panel, as if there is a permanent jury sitting in the back of your mind, ready to vote on whether your decisions are acceptable. Every time you over-explain, it's as if you pull out a chair, sit down in the defendant's seat, and say, "Let me prove to you that I'm not wrong." Your life is not a courtroom. You do not need a jury every time you change your mind. Stoicism cuts right to the heart of this. Epictetus said, "You are not responsible for what others think, only for your own judgment." Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say, "Make sure everyone agrees." He didn't say, "Convince them you're right." He said, "Your responsibility is your own judgment, your clarity, your values, your inner compass." So why is it so hard to stop explaining? Because your choices don't just challenge other people's opinions, they challenge their comfort. When you do something different, leave a safe job, set a boundary, rest instead of hustle, walk away from a relationship that looks fine on the outside, it can make others feel exposed. Maybe your courage to leave shines a light on their fear of staying. Maybe your decision to rest forces them to notice how burned out they are. Maybe your boundary confronts the part of them that benefits from you having none. So they ask, "Why are you doing that?" Not because they're truly open to understanding, but because your choice is shaking their version of what's normal. If they can get you to doubt yourself, they get to feel safe again. That's why the questions keep coming, not always from malice. Sometimes from insecurity, envy, confusion. But the effect on you is the same. You start living as if your life needs a long justification speech attached to every decision. Underneath all this, there's usually a core belief. If I don't explain myself, they'll think I'm selfish. If I don't explain myself, they'll think I'm stupid. If I don't explain myself, they'll think I'm ungrateful. So you keep handing out long explanations like apology letters. You try to make sure nobody can misunderstand you. But here's the problem. The people who want to misunderstand you will do it anyway. Stoicism offers a different standard. Better to be misunderstood than to live a life you don't respect. At some point, you have to move your focus from, "What do they think?" to, "Do I respect this choice?" You can't control their narrative. You can control whether you can look at your own life and say, "Even if no one gets it, this is honest for me." So, how do you start shifting out of this habit of over-explaining? First, you need awareness. Tonight, take your journal and write one full page answering this question. How much of my life is designed to avoid disappointing others? Let the answers come out unedited. Where did you say yes when you meant no? Where did you stay because leaving would look bad? Where did you keep quiet because you didn't want to cause trouble? You're not doing this to attack yourself. You're doing it to see clearly where the invisible courtroom still controls you. Then, tomorrow, practice something simple but radical. When someone asks, "Why did you do that? Why aren't you coming? Why would you leave that job? Why are you changing this plan?" Instead of giving a full TED talk on your decision, try one short, grounded sentence. You can say, "Because it's right for me right now." That's it. You don't owe a slideshow of your reasoning, or, "It's what felt right for me." You are not being rude. You are being clear. Some people will accept this and move on. Others will push. They'll say, "That doesn't make sense." You're making a mistake. That's selfish. Explain it to me. Remember this. Just because someone demands an explanation doesn't mean you're obligated to give one. If they keep digging, you can smile gently and change the subject. You can say, I know it might not make sense to you, but I'm okay with my choice. And then you move the conversation elsewhere. No debate. No trying to win them over. No turning your life into a group project. The first few times you do this, it will feel deeply uncomfortable. Your mind will scream, they think you're dumb. They think you're selfish. Say more so they don't misjudge you. But watch what else is happening underneath. A small, quiet part of you will feel relief. Because every time you choose not to over-explain, you're sending yourself a new message. My choices are allowed to exist, even if everyone doesn't applaud them. You stop putting your life up for public vote, and something else shifts too. When you stop flooding people with justifications, you invite them to see you as an adult with an inner world, not a child needing permission. They may disagree, they may gossip, they may never fully understand, but you are no longer bending your whole being to fit into their expectation. That is a deeply Stoic act. The more you practice this, the clearer the inner question becomes. Do I respect this choice? Not. Do they understand it? Do they approve? Do they think it's smart? Just, can I stand by this with a calm mind? Because at the end of the day, you live with the consequences of your decisions, not them. The moment you stop over-explaining, you stop putting your life up for public vote. Say this quietly to yourself. My choices don't need permission to be valid. 5. Keep your distance from people who don't respect you. There's a certain kind of exhaustion that coffee can't fix. The tired that comes from being around people who say they love you, but somehow you always leave the interaction feeling smaller. The friend who calls themselves brutally honest, but their honesty always seems to be about your body, your career, your relationship. Are you really wearing that? So, when are you getting a real job? Wow, you still haven't figured that out? The family member who uses guilt like a leash. If you really cared, you would answer my calls immediately. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me. Every conversation is loaded with shame, blame, or subtle accusation. You hang up the phone or leave the gathering feeling drained, heavy, a little bit off. And yet, when you even think about stepping back, a wave of guilt hits you. You hear a voice in your head. I can't distance myself from them. They're my friend. They're family. That would make me a bad person. So you stay close, and you slowly burn out. Here's a hard but freeing truth. Not everyone deserves the same level of access to you. Imagine your life as a series of circles. In the very center, there is you. Your peace, your energy, your time, your mind. Around that, there are circles of access. The inner circle is for people who genuinely respect, support, and care for you. Further out, you have acquaintances, colleagues, distant relatives. Some people belong way out at the edge, or even outside the circles entirely. But what most of us do, out of habit and guilt, is let almost anyone walk straight into the center, just because they've known us a long time, just because we're related, just because we're scared to say no. Your life is a limited access space. Not everyone gets a backstage pass. The Stoics understood that who you spend time with slowly shapes who you become. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your environment, your conversations, the people you're around, they are the ink that colors your mind. If you spend most of your time with people who mock your dreams, your inner voice will start to sound like mockery. If you're always around people who use shame and guilt to control you, your nervous system learns to live in tension. If you're constantly surrounded by those who tear others down, you will slowly forget what it feels like to be safe. Modern psychology describes this too. Your nervous system can only handle so much stress before it switches into survival mode, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When you are regularly around people who trigger shame, guilt, or fear, your body never really relaxes. Your shoulders stay tight. Your chest feels heavy. Your sleep is not as deep. Creating distance isn't about being dramatic. It's about giving your nervous system space to recover, to remember what calm feels like. Underneath the resistance to distance, there is usually a core belief. If I step back, I'm the bad one. If I protect myself, I'm ungrateful. If I limit their access, I'm betraying them. So you stay in rooms that hurt you, so you don't hurt their image of you. Stoicism offers a clearer distinction. Forgiveness and access are not the same thing. Forgiveness is something that happens in your heart. You can choose not to carry hatred, not to poison yourself with resentment. Access is about behavior in the real world. Who gets your time? Who gets your energy? Who gets to be close enough to influence your state of mind? You can forgive someone internally and still decide they do not belong in your inner circle. You can say, I don't wish you harm, but I no longer give you the power to harm me. You are not obligated to be accessible to everyone who knows your name. So, how do you start creating distance in a way that is firm but not cruel? Begin small. Think of one person in your life who consistently disrespects you through body shaming, career shaming, constant criticism, or emotional manipulation disguised as concern. This doesn't have to be the most extreme case. Just someone who, when you see their name pop up on your phone, your body tenses not from joy, but from dread. This week, run a quiet experiment. First, reduce your availability. If you normally respond to their messages immediately, add some space. Wait an hour. Wait until you feel calm. You're not punishing them. You're removing the reflex of, I must always be on call for you. Second, reduce your exposure. If you see them 3 times a week, make it once or twice. If every call becomes an emotional drain, keep the call shorter. Instead of an hour, make it 15 minutes. Third, protect your inner world. Stop sharing your most vulnerable dreams, struggles, and secrets with someone who consistently uses them as ammunition. You can still be polite. You can still be kind. You are simply giving them less access to the parts of you they don't treat with care. At the end of the week, take your journal and write 10 lines answering, how did my energy change when I gave less access to this person? Notice, did you feel lighter, less anxious before seeing them? Did you have more mental space for things that matter to you? Did you sleep better? Did you catch yourself missing them? Or did you mostly miss the idea of what you wish the relationship could be? This is not about cutting people off impulsively. It's about seeing clearly what their presence actually does to your life. You might worry, but what will they think of me if I create distance? A better question is, what happens to me if I don't? Stoicism teaches responsibility to your own soul first. If staying close to someone requires you to constantly shrink, to constantly accept disrespect, to constantly betray yourself, then staying close is not kindness. It's self-abandonment. Distance is not hatred. It's self-respect in action. You can love someone and still say, I need more space. You can care for someone and still recognize, I can't keep sacrificing my peace for this connection. You are not failing them by stepping back. You are finally not failing yourself. Over time, as you adjust your circles of access, something beautiful happens. You create more room for people who genuinely see you, who protect your name when you're not in the room, who celebrate your growth instead of mocking it. The more you invest in those relationships, the less attractive chaos becomes. The more you taste calm, the less willing you are to trade it away for guilt-driven loyalty. If you need one line to remember, let it be this: I choose to give my time to those who treat it with care. You've just walked through 5 quiet revolutions. You started with your posture, choosing to hold your head high instead of shrinking when someone crosses the line. You discovered the power of your eyes, the silent stare that says no without a single word. You learned to let silence be your answer when drama is begging you to plug in. You stopped putting your life on trial, dropping the habit of over-explaining every choice you make. And finally, you began to redesign your circle, giving less access to people who don't treat you or your time with respect. You don't need to remember every sentence from this video. Just remember the movement. Today, you learned how to stop shrinking, how to let your silence speak, how to stop putting your life up for public vote, and how to protect your peace with distance. The Stoics knew, you don't control who tries to disrespect you. People will project, poke, test, and misunderstand. But you always control how much of your soul you hand over in response. You will not handle every situation perfectly. You will lose your temper sometimes. You will over-explain, overreact, or stay too long in rooms that drain you. That's okay. You don't need perfection. You just need one small action each time disrespect shows up. Stand a little straighter, hold a gaze a little longer, let one more comment pass in silence, offer one shorter answer instead of a long defense, take one small step back from someone who keeps crossing your boundaries. Over time, these small acts add up. They become a new identity, someone who doesn't trade their peace for approval. Hold this in your heart. Respect starts with me, and I will not trade my peace for anyone's approval. If this spoke to you, write this sentence in the comments to lock it in. I choose self-respect over drama. And if this helped you see your worth a little clearer, like this video and subscribe to Stoic Current, so we can keep rebuilding your inner world together. If you're ready to go deeper into boundaries, self-respect, and quiet confidence, there's another video waiting for you on the screen. Don't just scroll. Choose what you feed your mind next.